It feels good to be back at home using my internet, using my computer, getting ready to do a review for Smackdown. What is going on, everybody? It's the Franz, and we are here for our Smackdown live review for Friday Night Smackdown, February 14th, your Valentine's episode of Smackdown, where Otis, the lucky dog, was able to score a Valentine's date with one Mandy Rose. Bayley put her women's championship on the line, and for some fucking reason, WWE brings Hulk Hogan out. I know why they brought Hulk Hogan out. It's fucking pathetic, but it is what it is. This show, if I was doing ups and downs like What Culture, there's a lot of ups. There's a couple ups and a lot of downs on this show. The show came to us from British Columbia, Canada, as we are getting closer to Super Showdown. Now, in the middle of the show, we had a surprise that's going to have to deal with Super Showdown that I didn't expect them to do, but I also shouldn't be surprised because this is WWE. They say there were 14,382 fans. It is rare that they announce the attendance, so this had to have been a legit sellout. When there's a legit sellout, or there's a huge number that's actually sold, WWE will tout it to the moon. If there was like almost nobody there, no, you won't hear the crowd. They used to announce the crowd all the time because they were getting and drawing sold out crowds or close to sold out crowds all the time. But over the last few years, that hasn't been happening. So the show starts off, and what's the very first thing we get? The Valentine's Day edition of A Moment of Bliss. Sorry. God. Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss have a moment of bliss. They talk about celebrity crushes. Who fucking cares? So they eventually bring out Carmella, congratulate her on winning that match last week, which of course Alexa Bliss was in that match. So it's kind of interesting to see Alexa Bliss, who wants nothing more to be women's champion again, being all chummy and happy for somebody else winning a fatal four-way and taking away her championship opportunity. I don't know when it's going to happen, but we know it's going to happen eventually, where Alexa Bliss turns into that evil bitch that she used to be. I'm not saying this is about Alexa Bliss. I think she's actually better in the role she's in now than she was 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. But they bring her in, they show pictures of what everyone tagged as Baymella, which is Carmella and Bayley from NXT a couple years ago, when the four horsewomen of WWE, three-fourths of them, which was Sasha Banks, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch, all moved to Raw and Smackdown because the brand split wasn't a thing yet. Bayley was left behind, and so Bayley still had Carmella. They weren't a tag team because it wasn't tag team wrestling, but they were close friends. They show pictures of their friendship, how close they used to be, and straight up Alexa Bliss asked her, what happened? And she pretty much blames Sasha Banks. Bayley has changed for the worse since Banks came back. Brings up the friendship with Cross, but the music interrupts. Bliss brings that up, and out comes SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley. Bayley says Carmella is nauseating. This entire segment is nauseating. I am fine with Carmella. I'm not Carmella, but Alexa Bliss as a babyface and teaming with Nikki Cross. It's the best role they've had for her since Blake and Murphy, which was her best role ever. But a moment of bliss is something I could do without, plain and simple. She says they were friends, not best friends, but friends going back to NXT. He calls Carmella a loser, adding that she's the most dominant champion we've seen. Says she used to pity Carmella. Bliss interrupts. Bayley mocks her and brings up the recent matches. Fans continue to boo Bayley. Bayley says nobody can touch her. Carmella gets in her face and says, let's fight right here and right now. Takes off her little jacket she has and heads straight to the ring. Bayley not happy about this at all. This was supposed to be a match supposedly later in the show, but we are getting it right now. So we get Carmella versus Bayley. Of course, Carmella won a fatal four-way in the main event of SmackDown last week to get this match. This has to be the best match Carmella has ever been in. This just shows you, and they talked about how the fact that Bayley is a two-time SmackDown Women's Champion, a Raw Women's Champion, a former NXT Champion, an Women's Champion, a former Tag Team Champion. They said that she is probably one of the more underrated champions in WWE history. Honestly, this match shows how well Bayley can make somebody look. Carmella looked so good against Bayley in this match, and you got to give it up to Bayley for getting Carmella to look like she belonged in the ring with Bayley. I know when Carmella was feuding with Charlotte Flair, and she just looked like trash. And I don't want to say that's all because of Charlotte, and yes, Carmella has improved since then, but this was definitely carried by Bayley. Bayley made Carmella look like $1,000,000. Carmella was fighting Bayley off for the majority of this. She was fighting Bayley for the majority of this match. Suicide dives to Bayley. Bayley trying some offense later on. Carmella moves out of the way, drops it on her head. Carmella puts her down with the big boots. Carmella is actually able to get the code of silence on Bayley. She got it on her. Looked like there could be a chance that Carmella actually could win this. When all of a sudden, while the code of silence is on, Carmella uses her one hand to pull down on her foot, and the other one she uses on the mat to keep her steady. Well, Bayley chops that other arm down, breaking the code of silence. So Carmella, that was the closest Carmella got to becoming the two-time SmackDown Women's Champion. And they do some more back and forth. Carmella gets... They tries for another code of silence. Bayley breaks that up. And then rolls her up. And the ref starts counting Bayley over by the ropes enough that she is able to get her feet on the ropes. 1, 2, 3. Bayley ends up winning with a leverage pin thanks to the ropes. After the match, Bayley's music hits and Carmella looks on. Bayley attacks her from behind and beats Carmella down. Naomi's music hits. She gets in Bayley's face and they argue. Carmella comes back from behind and shoves Bayley into Naomi, sending them both over. Carmella goes after Bayley some more. Naomi and Carmella end up both dropping Bayley with some kicks. Bayley rolls to the floor as Carmella and Naomi stands tall. Naomi music hits and they celebrate. What the fuck was Naomi wearing, and what was that hair tonight? My God, I know you want to be all glowing shit, but that's not a hairstyle for you, and that is not something I like. Wow, she was all pinkish in the hair and whatever the fuck you want to call it. That was some crazy shit. We see how Baron Corbin humiliated the Roman Reigns fan last week, as well as a guy in the production truck throwing him off of a set of stairs to the outside, injuring him. So he has been fined, and he was barred from competing on SmackDown tonight. We're going to hear from Hulk Hogan, also Roman Reigns and a mystery partner versus The Miz and John Morrison is your tag team main event. Back from break, we see what happened. Kayla Braxton stops Bayley backstage and she's upset. She reveals that she will defend her title. She won't defend her title again until Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia. She doesn't care who her opponent is because no one can touch her. I was like, holy shit, what? I know Lacey Evans and Natalya had a match last time. It was unannounced until last minute. But the fact that they actually will have a women's championship match at Super Showdown is actually bigger than whatever the fuck whatever those two did in November. So Bayley is actually going to be the first woman in WWE history to defend her championship in Saudi Arabia. So it's going to be either Carmella or Naomi. They are going to have a match next week. The winner will be facing Bayley at Super Showdown. I'm predicting it right now. It's going to be Carmella again because it's Super Showdown, and you want to keep Naomi versus Bayley until the Elimination Chamber. With all this talk of Super Showdown in WrestleMania, it just seems like the Elimination Chamber is not going to happen. WWE forgot that the Elimination Chamber exists. So that is what we have going on there. We see a day of trailer for the 2021 Royal Rumble with Lacey Evans speaking. Renee Young will interview Lacey Evans next Friday. Otis is backstage before his date with Mandy Rose, and we're just going to lump this in together. And he's really nervous. Tucker comes in. Otis says Mandy is running late. Tucker tries to calm him, but Otis wonders if Mandy could really like him. Tucker pretty much says, if she's the girl for you, then she will like every single part of you. Now, a little bit later, we see him getting ready for more. We also see Mandy Rose showing up to a restaurant, a quote-unquote restaurant. It's the same thing they do. They build a restaurant, have a bunch of actors in there acting like they're at a restaurant. So she's there. A little bit later after that, we see Mandy Rose checking her clock, wondering, where's Otis at? This date's supposed to be going on. And then later on, Otis, with his flowers, gets to the restaurant, goes to walk up to Mandy, but sitting in his chair is Dolph Ziggler. She's toasting Dolph Ziggler, and Otis sees this. Instead of doing what I think I would have fucking done, is walked up there and punched the hell out of Dolph Ziggler and said, motherfucker, this is my date, not yours. He looks at the roses, drops them, turns around, and walks away. Heartbroken, distraught, as we all knew was going to happen. Some people say, oh, if you didn't cry for him, then you aren't human. Well, I must not be human because I didn't cry at all. I didn't tear up. I didn't even feel, sad because I knew this was coming. Everybody knew this was coming. You knew this was coming. It's just, I didn't think it was going to go this way. I figured Mandy Rose was, the date was going to happen and Mandy Rose was going to do something to break his heart. But Dolph Ziggler strikes again. Now, why I say Dolph Ziggler strikes again, because Otis gave Mandy a quote-unquote fruitcake his mother made for Christmas, and Dolph Ziggler got a hold of it and destroyed it. So this is Dolph Ziggler getting more of that. So after all this, we move on to Sheamus versus Apollo Crews and Chad Gable. This is how bad it is. Remember the King of the Ring? Remember how great Chad Gable had running the King of the Ring, even though he came in at runner-up? How over he got after every single match. He would come out there, continue to get over. Fans were cheering him. Fans wanted him to go far and become the King of the Ring and do something. Then he chopped off his first name. He became Shorty Gable. Now he's Shorty G. And this match, Sheamus, mind you, is the heel. Sheamus is supposed to be the detestable guy that fans boo. Chad Gable and Apollo Crews were booed every time they had offense on Sheamus. From the start of the match to the end of the match, everybody booed Chad Gable and Apollo Crews. When Sheamus got offense in, they cheered him. And then he hits a brogue kick. They were calling for the brogue. Brogue, brogue, brogue. You know how crowds do. He hits it, and the crowd chants, 1, 2, 3. There was a time when Chad Gable was one of the most over guys in the company. And by the time that happened, we all knew this name was going to happen. That was months beforehand when Chad Gable was a nobody on Smackdown. And here he is, and he says, oh, you got to believe in yourself and you got to be your true self. Well, why are you lying on TV? Why are you not being yourself? Chad Gable is an Olympic athlete. Chad Gable is somebody who goes out there and kicks ass and takes name. It is like the second coming of Kurt Angle, even though I know Kurt Angle isn't dead, but he is the second coming of Kurt Angle. And you're having him go out there dressing up like a Globetrotter reject every single week. Coming out there to zero response, zero reaction. If he does something in the ring, he gets booed. Yet this guy is supposed to be over. This guy is supposed to be, he's supposed to be there for the short people. He's doing it for the shorties. No, he's not. And this gimmick is going to, if it hasn't already, kill his career. Chad Gable, 6 or 7 months ago, was one of the most over guys in the company. And now this guy is just, nobody cares. You shot him with this gimmick. You made him walk out there with a fake smile on his face and pronounce himself to be Shorty fucking G. And everybody immediately did not give a fuck about Chad Gable anymore. And he gets into this match. You had a 2-on-1, two baby faces beating up on a heel, and the crowd is booing everything they do. Nobody gave a fuck about them, and the crowd in Vancouver, British Columbia, was happy when Sheamus hit that brogue on Apollo Crews and beat him 1, 2, 3. What a damn shame. What a waste of fucking talent. Chad Gable, whatever his fucking actual name is, needs to let his contract run out. Go be elite and show the world that you're not a laughing stock. You are one of the best damn amateur wrestlers / professional wrestlers in the world today, who could be a world champion if they wanted to, a secondary champion in AEW if they wanted to, a tag team champion with literally any fucking bunny. Because if he stays here, nothing else that they do, anything he does in WWE is going to be just garbage from here on out. Moving on, Carmella is backstage and she's asked about what Bayley did. Carmella says she doesn't ask for handouts. She earns everything that she has gotten in this company outside of no James Ellsworth winning the Money in the Bank for you. She deserves a rematch after what happened tonight. She tells WWE and Fox officials, name a time and place because I will be there and I will be the next SmackDown Women's Champion. Holy shit. That's the first time outside of maybe a Paul Heyman promo where somebody on the active roster called out Fox officials. We see Hulk Hogan at his beach shop getting set up for the interview. Back from breaking, announcers go over Super Showdown with the video hype package for Goldberg for his match with the Universal Champion The Fiend. They join live via satellite by Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan at his beach shop in Tampa, Florida. Cole asked Hogan, this interview was fucking awful. Absolutely fucking awful. He came out and he's like, talks about the NWO and says it's for life. And me going into the Hall of Fame, it's going to be strong, because we're going to the Hall of Fame that's for life. And he's repeating himself over and over again. This was just horrendous. He's asked about Goldberg has a shot at The Fiend. Hogan talks about the feeling, the power of Goldberg. And the ring says, The Fiend better be careful. And he's just repeating himself over and over and over again. I don't know who wrote this shit. If this was coming from Hogan's, I don't think this was coming from Hogan himself. I think he was reading off a teleprompter. This shit was awful. The screen flickers and we have as it did a few times tonight, and it looks like The Fiend, which is like, they did an NWO, where like, the following interruption has been brought to you by the Firefly Funhouse, and it did the whole NWO thing. He comes in, strumming an air guitar with the Universal Championship, has his shirt off, his sweater off, which ripped R.I.P. Bray Wyatt's sweater, and starts doing his muscles. It goes the screen splits as Hogan appears. Hogan says Wyatt is a funny guy with jokes, but it won't be funny when he gets in the ring with Goldberg. Wyatt gets serious and warns Hogan that he doesn't need jokes. He has a fiend. Hogan tells Wyatt to be careful because there could be a room for him. He tells Hogan, Wyatt tells him to be careful because there could be room for one more on my wall. Like, there could be room for one more. He pulls up a picture of Hogan with the graffiti on the picture. That seems to freak out or bug Hulk Hogan. He's like, Michael, thanks for having me on. I'll see you on the Hall of Fame in Tampa. I'll see you in Tampa at the Hall of Fame. And he gets out of there immediately. Wyatt says the same thing and then waves goodbye to Goldberg and end the segment, and that was that. I mean, when the NWO spoof came on, it was funny. I mean, yes, they had Hogan talking about the NWO for life, brother, for life. And Goldberg is a bad dude and everything, but like, Bray Wyatt tried everything he could to make that a salvageable promo. It was not. That was just awful. Hulk Hogan should not have said anything. It just sounded so bad. I can't sit here and like think of words of how bad it was. It was just terrible. Absolutely fucking terrible. And it's not something I would want to see again. Hogan on the mic in 2020. No thank you. We see Otis heading. Oh, we already did all that. We talked about that. Back from break, we see a This Week in WWE History video of the WWE Network looking at The Rock in his anonymous GM on February 14th, 2011. Cole looks back at Rock's daughter Simone Johnson signing with WWE, and then they plug Jumanji, which of course is sponsoring, I think, Super Showdown, I think is what they said, or tonight's show. Cesaro and Sami Zayn in the middle of the ring as Greg Hamilton does the introduction. Sami talks about how they've been victims of injustice for weeks, and that at the hands of Elias. They have a protest song for us tonight. Fans aren't buying it. Elias interrupts as they begin to play, and out he comes. The screen is still flickering at random times. Fans cheer for Elias. He comes out and Elias does his thing and asks who wants to walk with him. Sammy isn't happy that Elias is interrupting the protest concert. Elias says he's staging a counter-protest. Sammy says any other night he would have had his security toss Elias out, but it's cool if Elias has something on his chest tonight. He orders his ringside security to let Elias into the ring. Sammy wants Elias close so he can hear this song because a lot of it has to do with him. Sammy and Cesaro start their sad attempt at music, but fans interrupt with a chant for Elias. Sammy tells Cesaro to do less cowbell as he tries to play the ukulele. Good fucking grief. Sami Zayn, honestly, is one of the best things about WWE television. This guy, he gets what he knows what he's doing. He knows how to rile people up. Sami Zayn, if booked great as a babyface, is absolutely fantastic. This guy can go out there and just get the crowd on his side. Now, if he wants to be a detestable heel, he can do that. He knows how to rile people up. He knows how to swing on both sides of the fences and do it well. Elias watches from the corner and he's just amused. Fans chant for Elias some more. This finally falls apart as Sammy tries to get the local heat. They double team Elias until out comes Braun Strowman. Strowman heads to the ring and takes security out first. Strowman hits the ring and ends up chasing Sammy around, backing him up into the ramp. Security comes from behind and hits Strowman, which was a really stupid fucking idea. Obviously, this bum who attacked him from behind did not want to walk for about 6 weeks or so. Strowman chases him back into the ring where Elias is there. They both launch the security guard out to the floor. Onto the other guard. Sammy watches and laughs, saying that could have hurt. Strowman and Elias stand tall in the ring as we go to replay. Kayla stops Naomi backstage for a comment. She goes on about how she's tired of Bayley. Says the glow is real and she will be the next Smackdown Women's Champion. More of the Otis and Mandy thing. We'll worry about that. We've already talked about that. We're breaking. We get a hype for John Cena's upcoming return in the Ruthless Aggression docu-series on the WWE Network. As I mentioned, Carmella and Naomi will be wrestling next week to see who goes on to Super Showdown to make more history in Saudi Arabia for WWE, and another excuse for them not to have an all-women's pay-per-view, which they don't need to have anyway. We get a video package of us leading up to what happened with Otis and them, and I'm just already went over it. Nothing else to say. We go to a little hype video of WrestleMania 37 going Hollywood next year, which The Miz has come out and said if he's not main eventing WrestleMania 37 next year, he will quit. I don't buy that for a second, Miz. Not one fucking second. Miz and John Morrison versus Roman Reigns in a mystery partner of his choosing. Well, I don't think I was the only one to think that this when they first announced this, but of course this was debunked when they announced that Baron Corbin could not wrestle on this night. I would not have put it past WWE to have Baron Corbin team up with Roman Reigns. I mean, hell, Lacey Evans and Natalya wrestled six out of 7 weeks against each other, and then they were a tag team for a week. And this is back when Lacey Evans was still a heel. But no. Then I'm thinking maybe it's somebody we haven't seen in a while. Maybe it's John Cena because WWE would want to do that. No, it was Daniel Bryan, which is fine. These guys, they work well together. So it was John Morrison, The Miz versus Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. And conveniently, we were so close. We were like 20 minutes away from a full show of no Baron Corbin. One full show of no Baron Corbin. And what the fuck happened? All you had to do was keep Baron Corbin away, but no! He comes walking down the aisle, down the stairs, holding a ticket. A ticket. When they didn't ban him from the arena, he could have used his music and sat there on his soapbox. Which, mind you, he does at the end of the night, just saying. But they could have had Baron Corbin's music. They said he wasn't allowed to compete. He couldn't wrestle. They didn't ban him from the arena. Why he needed to buy a ticket makes absolutely no fucking sense. So these four guys have a good match here. John Morrison and Roman Reigns go at it at the beginning. Miz, Daniel Bryan eventually get into it as well. By the end of this match, did you think Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan were going to lose? No. Even though Miz and John Morrison had a tag team title match at Super Showdown. I know Roman Reigns has a cage match, but what's Daniel Bryan doing at Super Showdown? Nothing! He won't be at Super Showdown. He's going to be on the next flight to wherever Smackdown is the next day. So, I think they could have had Daniel Bryan take the pinfall. Roman doesn't get pinned, but the reason they did it because Baron Corbin was sitting in ringside. When Baron Corbin walked down down those stairs, you knew 1,000% that Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan were going to win this match. Typical end to a match. Roman tries to spear Morrison, ends up getting hit in the face. Eventually, Daniel Bryan gets taken out on the outside. Miz is mocking the yes chance. He waits for Reigns. Reigns meets him with a Superman punch. Follows up with a spear. 1, 2, 3. What did you expect? Nothing more, nothing less. Typical end to a Roman Reigns match. As soon as the match is over, Corbin comes in, hits him with the scepter in the back of the neck, works Reigns over before retreating on his caravan as the music plays. Fox goes off the air as Corbin stands tall, or sitting tall, on his throne while Roman Reigns recovers. This was bleh. Just bleh. The Women's Championship match was about one of the few things. I mean, yes, Sami Zayn and the protest. Sami Zayn and Elias, Cesaro, and the whole Strowman thing. That entire segment was fucking great, minus, of course, the end of it. And that's about it, really. Nothing else on this match, other than the Hulk Hogan promo was absolutely atrocious. WWE figured, hey, Goldberg's quarter hour was through the fucking roof when it came to ratings. Let's do it with another person. Let's do it with Hulk Hogan. Because Hulk Hogan and Goldberg had a match in 1998. With Goldberg winning the World Heavyweight Championship. So let's have him come on, be a satellite, because it worked the last time. Let's do it again. But as soon as Hulk Hogan opened his mouth, I hope everyone changed the channel, because my fucking God, that was awful. But Hulk Hogan talking like that, it was awful, and I would never want to actually hear Hulk Hogan cut another promo again. Just the repeating of things, sounding belligerent. Was this motherfucker on drugs or was drunk when he came on here? It was terrible. Corbin versus Reigns has to end at Super Showdown, but it won't. The Elimination Chamber's coming up, and there's no motherfucking way at the Elimination Chamber, because you know SmackDown's getting the Elimination Chamber men's match. There's no motherfucking way Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin will not be in that match. No fucking way. Daniel Bryan, Braun Strowman, Baron Corbin, Roman Reigns, Nakamura, and whoever the fuck else they want to put in there is going to be your 6 men in the Elimination Chamber. I think they should extend it at 8 when it makes sense, not this year. But SmackDown is done for the night. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitter at The France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/The France Club. And I will see you guys tomorrow for Unscripted, as this will be going up probably on Saturday afternoon. Until then, my name is The France, and I'll see you guys later.